Um, Thank you for your work. I can't thank you enough for the writings that you have put out there. My question is can the five senses be trusted? Or, in other words, are all the truths recognized by sensory inputs alone, given there is no conditioning or the filter with which you see things?
Yeah, what why are you asking?
Um, I'm, I mean, I've heard you mention, things like communion with truth and being able to access truths from an unnameable place and things like that. And it fascinates me. At the same time, I couldn't understand that, um, you know, from
See,
the instrument that we
the
have.
problem is not the brain that you have. The problem is the desire that you have. And that desire that human beings have is misplaced because it's placed in the direction of the world and worldly knowledge. Now that worldly knowledge which you require for your work and material things is fine. But I'm talking about with regard to otherworldly things in one's life that are not mechanical or technical. Even in those things, the human being does not have a desire for those things. So, because he lacks the desire, he begins to ask about fancy things like going beyond the senses and achieving the truth in some fanciful moment underneath, a tree, a banyan tree or something. He goes to those fancy places because he lacks just the basic second grade desire for the truth. So if he had that desire, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if what brain he has. He would orient it in the direction of wanting to seek the truth, as opposed to having it oriented towards wanting more prescriptions. So it's nothing. The more spiritual you make it, the further and further you move away from truth. The more all these things are like all these things become complicated and spiritual and like fanciful and romantic. Those things have nothing to do with the truth. The truth is feet on the ground, practical. But the human plays a very clever game. He doesn't really want it. So then, because he doesn't really want it, then he begins to bring up the five senses and all these things that he learned in the spiritual world. And almost to convince himself that, see, I can't go beyond the five senses, so I can't get the truth. He just plays these games. When you're hungry, do you want food? Yes. When you're thirsty, do you want water? Yes. It's nothing more basic than that. But when it comes to a desire, do you want truth? No, you don't.